Hey Indy, it's Alyssa. I have Josh Folkerts here with us today. We are so excited to be talking with Josh. Today, the live stream is called Legacy Live Stream instead of Fundraising Live Stream because Josh has hit a very special level of fundraising that we call Legacy. And Josh, correct me if even you've hit higher levels than that.
I don't want to brag, but yes, I've hit 50,000 in 1 year too.
Oh my gosh. So that's called Legend. So we have a very special person on the line with us today. Super grateful for him and super grateful for you guys. Indy, you have already raised over $132,000 for clean water. That's so great. That's awesome. We are inching our way towards our citywide goal of $400,000 raised. I know we can do it, and today we're going to tap into Josh's knowledge. If you haven't already, make sure to get your tickets to the team dinner. You can do that by clicking the link in the email that you got from me today. And yeah, just keep on plugging away with your fundraising, your training. You guys are doing great, and every time I get to hear from someone via Facebook or email, I love it. It just fills me up, guys. So keep your comments coming. And we'll just start talking to my friend Josh here. So Josh, how many years have you been doing Team World Vision? How did you start? Where did it all come from for you?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me, Alyssa and Indy. So great to talk to all of you guys. I was at the race a couple years ago. Got to help out at the tent and the finish line and welcome all of you back in. And hopefully we'll have the opportunity to do that again. So excited to spend some more time with you guys. But I started my Team World Vision journey in 2012 at the Chicago Marathon was my first race. It all really started from my grandparents. My grandparents were some of the most generous people that I have ever known and kind of instilled that giving culture in me. And always just grew up seeing some of the amazing things that they would do. Whether it was my grandpa teaching refugees how to drive once they got to the U.S. and he would let them use his Cadillac. One guy actually crashed it, and I thought my grandpa would be so mad and have a bad attitude. And instead, he replaced it and started the same lessons with the same guy just a week later. So that's just the kind of people that they were, always giving, even when they had very little. Towards the end of my grandpa's life, he was blessed with a lot of money, but just continued to up the giving. And he passed away in 2010, and that's when I really started to think about the legacy he left and the legacy that I wanted to leave for myself and how I could kind of start to do that. I didn't have much money at the time, so it's not like I could just write a check to one of my favorite organizations or one of his. But I was actually at a party at Northern Illinois University when I was in college, and I saw someone with this little orange wristband on. And it said, "I care, and so I run Team World Vision." And I knew about World Vision through my grandparents and my parents, but I didn't know what Team World Vision was. And I asked the guy about it, and he said, "Oh, well, we actually are a running arm of World Vision. We run for clean water projects in Africa." And I started to think maybe that was something that I could do. I was still terrified of a marathon, so I did not sign up in 2010 or 2011. But I went to the Chicago Marathon in 2011 to see what it was all about. And saw just tons of runners out on the streets of Chicago, people who were just like me, people who were not runners, taking on a big challenge, and it inspired me. So I signed up in 2012, ran in 2012, 13, and 14, and then came on staff at the end of 2014 to help out in the Chicagoland area. So it's been a pretty fun ride to go from having barely run a mile to now doing marathons and other races that we have and raising a lot of money for kids along the way.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And Josh, I'll brag a little bit for you. He's done some epic races while he's been raising all this money for clean water. So Josh has done races like Comrades in South Africa, 56 miles in 12 hours, more than once. So that's pretty awesome. Josh, what inspires you to set your high fundraising goals like Legacy and Legends year over year?
Yeah, so for me, it all starts on thinking about what we're actually doing. You know, we can hear the stats about clean water, and when you look at your goal, we always say, think of how many kids that you want to bring clean water to, and that's where it really boils down to for me. It's understanding what we're doing, and that is literally changing the world. $50 brings clean water to one kid, which we hear that over and over again. But when you stop and really think about it, it's insane. Like $50 is going to completely alter a kid's life. The amount that I could spend on dinner tonight will bring clean water to a kid for the rest of their life, and it brings them hope in the future and so much other stuff too that comes along with clean water. So when you see the large number of people without clean water, I just think, how can I not go for a big goal? I've been to Africa 3 times. I have 5 sponsor kids. You might be able to see them on my fridge back there. They're hanging up there. And just when you meet the people and you see the need, you just know you have to be going for these big goals. No matter how much you've done in the past, always just going for bigger and better things, and never limiting yourself is a big thing that I've learned. Typically, when I first signed up my first year, I thought 1310, the amount that Team World Vision wanted everybody to start at, I thought that seemed crazy. But someone challenged me to go for a $5,000 goal, and I did, and I hit it. And thinking back, if I would have just stuck with that basic 1310 goal, there would have been a lot of kids that wouldn't have got clean water. So always just challenging yourself to go for bigger and better things.
Totally. So how have you fundraised in the past?
So like I said, starts with a big goal. One of the things that one guy on the team told me is that if you hit your goal, you probably didn't have your goal big enough. So I always like to throw out a big number there because you never know what you're going to be able to do. But I start by being my first donor, which we talk about all the time. I think that is extremely important. And it's not just $50. If you can give 50 yourself, that's great. But if you can give more, do it. So I set a big example to start off the whole campaign, and then just reaching out to your friends and family. I personally like to write letters. So I mailed out about 100 handwritten, personalized letters to my friends and family, just kind of sharing the vision of what I wanted to do, how I was running the marathon, how I wanted them to partner with me. And it was really cool just to build that vision for them as well. I wasn't looking at them as just a check or anything. I really wanted them to know that we were in this together. So every letter I sent out, it was all we. We were able to do this. And it was pretty cool. One year I didn't send those out just because I got extremely busy with work. And my friends and family were actually reaching out to me and my parents and saying, where are the letters this year? Like, we wanted to donate, we wanted to support him. That's because you build that culture of, this is going to be an every year thing for me. It's not a one and done thing. I'm in this until the clean water crisis is over. So I would send out that first one in the beginning, and then also send out another letter at the end, just a recap, thanking them, again, sharing what the marathon was like and how I was already planning to do it again next year and to be expecting a letter in the future.
Totally.
I like to continue to give yourself. We talk a lot about that first gift, but continue. If you have the ability, keep throwing some donations on there, showing people how serious you are about it, that you're not asking them to do something you wouldn't do. And if you're going to give to yourself, I like to use that to get more gifts in. So just for example, when I did my big $50,000 campaign, when I ran Comrades, the 56-mile race Alyssa talked about, I was selling my car. It was a crappy Honda Civic, had about 300,000 miles on it. Only got about $1,000 for it, but I put it out on Facebook and said, if we can raise $1,000 in the next week, I would match that. And we hit it in about 5 days, which was really cool. So the biggest thing I'd say is you have to be sacrificial yourself as well, especially if you're going for these big goals. Make some gifts. Use the money that you're giving to bring in more money as well. But really just use the skill set that you have. Check out some of the resources we have at teamworldvision.org. We have a quiz that'll actually show you what type of fundraiser you are. If you're a party person, do that. If you're like me and just like to write letters, do that. Take people out to coffee. Ask for specific amounts is always a good one. One of our guys in Chicago, Anthony Halpin, he's one of our top fundraisers. He said, always ask people for a specific amount. They might not give the amount that you ask for, but they'll probably give more than they would have if you didn't ask for something. So for all the people that had given to me in the past, I wrote them a letter again and said, hey, would you guys consider doubling your gift? Only about half of them did it, but it resulted in a ton more money. And all the people that didn't still gave again. They just didn't increase it. So be bold. That's one of the biggest things that I can say.
Totally. That's awesome. So fundraising goals are scary. Why should I bump my goal? And what do you do if you ever get discouraged in your own fundraising?
Yeah. So I believe the best way to hit the number that you want with the number of clean kids with water, or the goal that you set, is to go for a goal that's twice as big. Oftentimes I've heard this analogy of salespeople. If you're selling TVs and you want to sell 20 TVs, you're not just going to ask 20 people. So plan on a big list of people, and make a bigger goal. If I want to hit $10,000, I'm shooting for a goal of $20,000, because I found that people will typically give more when they see you have that big gift. If you take on a goal of $1,310, there's probably not going to be anyone that's going to give you a $1,000 gift. But you might have people in your life that you don't even know. You might not think they have the capacity to write a big gift like that, but you probably know someone. And if you take on a big goal like that, they're going to be way more inclined to get you closer to that. They're not going to give it to you if they see it's going to take you to 100% of your goal and then you're done. So I always like to go for a big goal. That's about what I would say with that. For what I do when I get discouraged, typically for me, it's just remembering the impact that we're having. I'm having a little bit of a down year this year compared to some previous years. And I just always go back to the fact that every single gift that we bring in is clean water for another kid. There are going to be people that turn you down. You know, my wife works at an accounting firm, and she has a manager who makes a ton of money, and she sent him an email, and he sent her a $25 donation. And it was just kind of disappointing for her, because she knew the ability he had to give a really big gift. But she just went back to him and said, hey, it's $25. It's better than nothing. Just having a positive attitude about it, and knowing one gift, one person saying no, it's the worst that can happen. Move on, have some more people that you can reach out to, and always just bring it back to the kids. So even when I'm talking about goals, I don't talk about, would you give $50 or $100? I say, would you bring clean water to 2 kids? It makes it a lot harder to say no to a question like that. But it's also letting them know the impact of their gift. I mean, $100, they might not know what that does. And when you say, if you give $100, you will bring clean water to 2 kids, that's an amazing thing. And people want to get behind that. So never get discouraged. I know it can be tricky, but just keep plugging away, knowing that you're having a massive impact on kids' lives in Africa.
That's awesome, Josh. So let's inspire you to go farther together with Team Vision every year, into new races and new fundraising goals, and bringing even more kids clean water.
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is that we are coming close to the end of the clean water crisis, which I think is just absolutely crazy. It blows my mind. There have been surveys put out, stats put out, that the clean water crisis could be over in as little as 15 years. And I think it's awesome that Team World Vision might have the problem of, we need to find something else to fundraise for in the future. So a lot of you guys might have seen the Yes campaign. I'm going to keep saying yes until there are no kids in this world that don't have access to clean water. And I really hope you'll do the same thing. But it's honestly also the people on this team. You guys inspire me more than you will ever know. The fact that so many of you are taking this on for the first time. I just did the Chicago half marathon. We had a team of about 75 people. It was just yesterday. And seeing some of the people come in with the life transformation, people who never even thought about doing a half marathon before, people who literally ran from the church service when I was there and said they wanted nothing to do with it. But you guys are listening to God's call and are stepping through the fear to take on bigger things. And for me, that just inspires me to keep doing bigger things, whether that's the fundraising goals or events like Comrades and Ironman. And I hope you guys will continue to do the same. You know, work on half marathon and marathon. You guys are absolutely incredible. And maybe next year it's something bigger that you need to do. Take on another fundraising goal. Go to the field with us. See the work. Once you guys see the work, you will be inspired beyond belief. And Alyssa's going to be leading a team. I'm leading a team. We always have teams going over to Africa, and we'd love to get you guys on those trips. That's honestly the biggest thing for me, those 5 sponsor kids up on the fridge over there. Just being able to meet them and hear the impact from them. My first trip to Kenya, I got to meet my sponsor kid, Roy, And I wasn't sure if they really understood the whole Team World Vision thing. It's kind of a strange concept of running, and we ask our friends for money that goes to the field to help our sponsor kids and other kids in the area. So just wasn't sure if that was all clicking. But as I was leaving, his dad took my hand and he said, thank you, please never stop running. Just absolutely destroyed me, as it was so clear that they understand it and they know that we are doing bold things on their behalf and their lives are being changed from it. So being able to meet those people and hear the stories, see it firsthand, is really what keeps me going.
Josh, those are some good words. We're going to let you rest after you just completed an epic event yesterday, Chicago Half Marathon. Thank you so much for inspiring us. You brought us so much joy today, so thank you so much for your wisdom and your words.
Yeah, have a great race, guys.
Thanks, Josh. We'll talk to you soon.